So I've been playing Brawl Stars for about a year, and my skills are questionable at best. So I'm gonna take a lesson from Kairos with 30 pro tips to instantly make me better, and hopefully I can achieve greatness at the end of it. All right, let's go.
When a player runs out of gadgets to use, the gadget icon.
See this gadget icon thing? I've never paid attention to it before. I didn't even know it was the center gadget, but I probably should pay attention to it. So it's also valuable to know which brawlers have a hypercharge, because that's gonna show you which brawlers are power 11. See this BB? She's got no gadgets, no gears. Mortis, no gadgets, no gears. Ooh, hypercharged. That's a hypercharged Spikers. That Edgar does not have hypercharge. So I had 5 power cubes and a hypercharge, rightfully so. I should have crushed this guy, but he put up a decent fight. I'm only a mediocre Edgar, even though I'm at 800 trophies. And no hypercharge means you lose.
Also, if you've spawned a pet or a turret that is now too far away for you to see, you can actually check if it is still alive.
Bear is too far. Bear is too far. I've never read any text in the middle of a match like that because I'm too... can't activate the gadget without the bear. I'm too engaged in the match that I can't actually take the time to read that.
There are certain gadgets in the game that have limited range, and if you hold down the gadget button, it will show you
This is interesting.
range. If you only want to see the range without activating the gadget, just slide your thumb off the button and then let go. Tip number 4.
Hey, hold up. Okay, see, I thought if I press the gadget that it just automatically activates, and I didn't realize I could slide my thumb off of it like that. I used to just think that as soon as I touch that gadget button, it pops off, but it's kind of good to know that I can kind of press it and let it go. But if I press it and just pop off, okay, it activates. It's like little details like that that make a difference. And speaking of that, I've seen this spinning hypercharge icon mean like, beware, this guy's ready to cook, but I didn't realize that there was like a little green one being like, this guy has hypercharge invested. Let's go, Fang! Okay, let's get back into it.
3 modes are almost always best played in 3 lanes, left, middle, and right.
So OJ always talks to me about the 3 lanes, but in my trophy count, I'm like less than 20,000 trophies. I'm normally floating around 500 trophies. It doesn't seem like guys are playing in lanes to me, but I understand it's something I should develop a little bit.
Now, if you're playing either the left or the right lanes, you can try to force the enemy to bunch up near the middle by taking control of the edges of the map. This is done by getting between.
This makes sense to me because there's too many brawlers, especially in the days right now, 2024, where Fang is the team wiper. It's hilarious when guys like bunch up together and you can just cook the whole team easy peasy.
You want to always look to pinch out enemy brawlers, especially in 3v3 modes. Pinching a brawler is a term for 2 teammates attacking an enemy.
So when he's saying pinch a brawler, it's like ganging up like 2-on-1. That's something I really need to work on, but my eyeball for it has gotten better. When I'm playing with my friends on stream, I've actually noticed that like I've seen opportune moments to actually tackle somebody and like double team them.
Not purposely miss your shots, but if you miss a shot, you can use that to pressure the enemy to move them where you want them to go. Sometimes players can be
Oh, that's actually smart. I've never thought about doing that. I've kind of understood the concept of like when I'm dodging bullets, I'm getting like pressured into one way, but I've never thought about missing my shots to push somebody somewhere else, which you could do to push somebody towards your teammates so that you could pinch them.
Really good idea to switch with your teammate. Keep in mind that even if you're playing well in your lane, it might still be a good idea to switch depending on how your teammate is doing in their lane, because they might be struggling against a counter themselves. Now, other than Eve, brawlers obviously.
That's also another thing that I don't know, like the counters of brawlers. I'm like super dicey on it.
On top of water. And for those brawlers, you can actually add a little extra distance by aiming the end of the attacks toward the middle of the pond. This works great for brawlers like El Primo or Daryl, because if the attack lands close,
utilizing the water,
the brawler will just be forced to land outside of the pond. It's not always practical, but it can be useful.
So he's talking about shooting at the edge of the water.
Brawlers in the game with regular attacks that only fire 1 or 2 projectiles. Brawlers like Belle, Jessie, or Nita. When you start facing off against really good players, it's incredibly helpful to have the attack damage values for these types of brawlers memorized. Whether you're using these brawlers yourself or if you're up against them.
I know what he's talking about here, about knowing the brawlers, and I'm starting to know the brawlers a little bit. Like,
most brawlers can deal all of their burst damage.
It's super important to know who can cook you right away. Like when I'm playing Piper and I'm shooting a Crow, it's like 1 shot or 2 shot and Crow's cooked, especially when you're hitting from the range, right?
Always check your bushes if you don't know where the enemies
This
are.
is probably one of my worst habits, is not checking bushes.
But I am shocked at how many times players will walk into bushes because they're fairly certain that
So when he's talking about check the bushes, is he saying like you need to shoot a shot in there?
Bushes are only safe if you know where all 3 brawlers are. Skilled players are really good at dodging attacks even while hiding in bushes, and they can play some seriously good mind games.
Okay, 20 bucks says there's somebody in this bush. 3, 2, now! I'm not paying you guys 20 bucks. Yeah, see, there was a crow in there. I just didn't hit him. Mortis? Mortis? That's a slippery M's in this bush. Watch. 3, 2, 1, pow. 3, 2, 1, pow. There she is. I knew it. One of my problems is I start to feel a little too comfortable and safe, and then this happens. And I didn't check the bush. Mortis comes out and slices me.
Up next are some game mode specific tips. In Knockout, once you defeat an enemy,
Okay.
it's better to heal and regroup rather than immediately charge the other enemies. A 3v2 is a huge
So we're talking about
advantage in
Knockout now,
PvP,
one of my
but in
favorite
Knockout,
game
it's
modes.
especially useful. If you end up isolating yourself from your teammates,
This is another thing that OJ gives me a hard time when I play with him, because like I will, like if somebody dies, I get all excited and I charge in with low health, and he's like, bro, you need to back up, heal, recharge your ammo, like, because it's all good 2v3.
Smoke rolls in to win the round. I see a lot of players get impatient even when the enemy team has the long range advantage. If the enemy team has an advantage in longer range, just take cover until the smoke.
I'm
forces
super
players
guilty
closer
of
to
this
cover.
one.
And even though this is
Playing that
boring,
long
it's a
game
lot
is like
better
being
than
super
losing
patient.
position.
So I don't think this map is the greatest representation of letting the smoke come in to actually push the brawlers to you, because in the center it's pretty open, but we're gonna see what we can do anyways. Oh crap, they got a thrower. Oh crap, they got a thrower. Oh my god. I forgot this one had a teleporter. I distracted them the whole time. I helped. I distracted. You're dead, Pearl. Teleport. Oh god. So after that mayhem, I was trying to bide my time in the bush and wait a little bit for the smoke to come in, but BB just smoked Angelo. I just realized that I was playing super aggressive and not even like being patient letting the smoke come in. I'm a bad Brawl Stars player and a bad listener. Let's keep this video going.
Now in Hot Zone, playing good defense is the only way to make a comeback on maps with more than one zone. If the enemy team takes an early lead, it won't matter how much.
Are we on Hot Zone already?
Can't keep them out.
Man, that was
from the other
fast.
zone. So you should prioritize making sure that the enemies can't get into one of the zones that they have.
I think this is not my Hot Zone strength. Like Hot Zone, I don't know, some people love Hot Zone, some people hate it. It's okay to me. It's not my favorite game mode. Maybe it's because I don't like playing defense, but I don't play a lot of defensive brawlers. So the map rotation isn't ideal for me to try to execute these tips, but I'm just gonna do my best and see what I can do anyways. I'm supposed to be defending the Hot Zone. Ideally, there would be 2 zones, one where there's like we need to defend and one where there's aggression. This map is only 1, so we're just gonna rock with it. I'm just gonna try to defend the zone as much as I can. I'm sneaking up on them. So my plan here was to sit in the shadows and distract as much as possible. Once I got my super, I thought that I'd try to pinch them and keep them bottlenecked at their spawn. Did they see my mines? Did they see my mines? I thought the first mine was gonna get Gene, but the second one came in clutch. Meanwhile, Mr. Tick over here was laying down some heavy cover fire, making me retreat. Wow, Tick really wanted my blood. I think I was a good distraction there. Yeah, Tick, you're so busy shooting me, you're not even gonna try to capture the zone? You silly Tick. Night night. I don't know if this is defense. Is the best defense a good offense? Pick mines. I mean bow mines. Get you some defense by offense. Am I executing these tips correctly?
Now when you're playing on maps with only one zone, I often see players die and rush right back to the zone one after the other, only to get 3v1'd and die again.
I see this all the time.
It's way better for you to just wait for your teammates to respawn than it is to take turns getting obliterated.
I need to do that too, is like actually approaching it. It's hard with randoms though, you know what I'm saying? When you're playing with randoms,
your goal is to stay alive near the enemy safe for as long as possible. Obviously, you want to attack it as much as you can as well, and you do want to prioritize attacking the safe over enemy brawlers, but more important than attacking it is staying alive near the enemy safe, because it forces the enemy to go on the defense. And if they're on the defense, not only
this is pretty standard, I think. Stay alive on Heist while you're attacking the safe, maximize the damage.
Also in Heist, avoid fighting low DPS brawlers that don't have their super if you can. So I'm talking about brawlers like Nita or Jessie. They're very popular choices in Heist, but if you don't let them charge their super on you, they're pretty much useless in comparison to a lot of other competitive options.
That makes sense.
Brawlers like those can be a ignored on
I normally
your
like to
save
bring
as
Nita
long
to
as you've
Heist,
done
let
so.
my
Now,
whale
if
Bruce
you
shred
have
it.
the ball and you're going to take a shot while someone is defending, you'll score a lot more goals if you move in one direction and aim in the opposite direction toward the goal. Players are used to reading foot movements, and that's why aiming the opposite direction usually works so well.
Okay,
Also
that's a
in
good Brawl Ball tip.
focus
Shoot the
on
opposite
gaining map
direction like a
control
V.
until you are very sure that you can get the ball into the goal. Until you're able to actually make a goal, keep your ball close to you or your teammates, but don't pick it up until your team actually creates the right opportunity to score. And as a bonus tip, try to not kick the ball near enemies, since they'll likely kick it to a corner, which will make it difficult for you to get.
So I think my problem with Brawl Ball is when I'm playing it is I always end up passing the ball to my teammates when they're trying to engage the enemy, and then I waste one of my teammates' ammo. That's just a rookie things.
Score in Brawl Ball. Sometimes players get really caught up in those 1v1s that they don't realize that there's actually an opportunity to score the ball. This is especially true in competitive matches where players are used to trying to take out enemies before they try to make a goal, but sometimes the enemy just doesn't position themselves well enough and you can score even though all three of them are still alive. So whether your teammate
I've seen this happen often. It's pretty standard Brawl Ball thing. People get too caught up in the game and then there's nobody on defense. Easy goals.
In lower trophies, the opposite happens where players are so focused on scoring that they try to do so before the enemy defenses have been taken care of. Most of the time, it's better to get rid of the enemy team before scoring, but you know, pay attention.
Yeah, you got to be adaptive in Brawl Ball, right?
Your risky plays for as long as you possibly can. In other words, don't jump on enemies unless you know for sure that you will be able to kill them.
Bounty's an interesting one based on your trophy count, though. So I've played a lot of low trophy matches, obviously, and you can be pretty aggressive in low trophies and get a little wild, but in the higher trophy ranges, that's no dice. You got to be careful.
Just remember that bounty matches can change either way in less than a second, so wait for your teammates if you can, and don't overextend yourself until you absolutely have to. A lot of those assassin type brawlers in bounty only work well when you're patient throughout the entire match. Tip 22, if it seems like your team is hopelessly spawn trapped, it's probably because you guys aren't working together. If you can manage to just take out one brawler on the enemy team, it will be way harder for them to keep you spawn trapped. So what you want to do is all three of your players on your team should focus on just one enemy brawler until they're
That's the tricky one, like these tips. I wonder if these tips are directed towards like when you're actually playing with your friends.
Try to maintain control of the map for as long as you can.
Because doing some of this stuff with randoms, this just doesn't work, man.
Back to their spawn, since that's the safest place to be, but a lot can happen in 15
Team
seconds.
cohesion in random games is super rough. Communication's so dicey.
Map control, and your team will get bunched up at the back of the wall, which allows enemies to make a comeback. Now, when protecting a high-profile teammate, like a teammate that has lots of gems or a high bounty, it's usually best to play aggressively. If you can afford to die without giving the opponents the lead,
This is another one that OJ gives me a hard time for every time I play with him. I'm either picking up gems and I shouldn't be picking up gems, or I'm like playing like super defensively when the gem carrier is like running away. I'm like trying not to die. I'm a really bad dynamite, so I was completely sweating during this match. But right near the end, I thought they had us, but I pulled this off clutch. I mean, I didn't do it all by myself, but I did some work. See, boom goes the Miko, and then boom goes the Mandy next, and then we back it up as a team, and I'm supposed to be playing aggressive, so I kind of start pulling back a little bit as the team runs back, start putting a little bit more work, like, get out of here, Miko, get out of here, Mandy, get out of here, you stupid mosquito, and then, there we go. Playing aggressive, not the high-profile target. Let's go.
Tip 25. Learn to space yourself. Being very familiar with every brawler's range is pretty much essential in competitive matches. By moving up and down the map at the very right time,
I think I'm decent with knowing brawlers' ranges now. I've played enough.
To outrange you while also staying outside their range. You might miss some more shots trying to hit enemies.
Dodging is still a tricky part of this game, though. Like to dodge, like be a good dodger.
Tip 26: prioritize taking out enemy pets before the enemies themselves. Even if whatever the enemy spawns can recover health, like Nita's bear.
Kill enemy pets. That's a standard one, but I've never actually thought about that. Normally, when people drop their pets, I kind of just shoot with, like, I shoot with whatever I can hit. But it's probably smart to take out the pets first. Especially the pets are normally the crushers, right? Like the whale and the turret. Gotta kill that big whale. Die, Mr. Whale.
Bruce has the potential to really shred you if he lands on you, but if he's thrown far away from you and he's chasing you, he's so damn slow, he's pretty easy to handle.
Now, a tip for Power League drafting: when you're picking brawlers, you not only want to try and pick brawlers that will counter the enemy, but you also want brawlers that pair well with your friendly brawlers. For example, if a teammate picks a brawler who likes
So I don't play a lot of Power League, but this is interesting.
Then you want to pick a brawler who does well in open maps like Spike or B. As another example,
Oh, that's
if a
interesting
teammate
tip.
selects Rosa
Opening
on
the
a
map
bushy
up. Yeah,
you
that
should
makes
probably
sense.
Avoid brawlers who are likely to destroy her bushes. Another suggestion when drafting brawlers for Power League: when you're going to suggest your teammates brawlers, it's very often the best to just suggest their highest power brawler. I'm a firm
That's
believer
pretty
that
standard.
playing brawlers that you're confident
Pick
with
your
is
level
much
11
more
brawlers in
important than
Power
playing
League.
good brawlers
Don't
in
come to my
meta.
Power League matches with your
Teammate has a
Power
high
5
brawler,
brawlers.
chances are they've played that brawler a lot. So not only do you get a power advantage, but they'll likely just play
Why do
better
people
because
bring
they're
these low-level
familiar
brawlers
with
to
that.
Power League?
Tip 29, try to heal fully before returning to combat. There are
Oh
lots of
my
times
God,
where
we
you
just
could
talked
take some
about this,
cover with
Kairos.
just a little HP, but too often
That's part of my playing aggressively though, right? If I'm like low HP and I think I can get the kill, I'm kind of like, maybe I could get it. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit.
So normally in a situation like this, I would be pretty aggressive with my teammates, but then I would die shortly after and be pretty useless. So instead, I backed off.
Okay, gotta heal, recharge the ammo, don't die.
And it seemed to work pretty well, because shortly after we got the kill on Nita, got the kill on Ruffs, things were going pretty smooth, and we ended up winning this game.
Oh, let's go!
And finally, tip 30, even if just one of your teammates dies, you want to play a lot further back than normal, unless you can't afford to give up map control near the end of the match for some reason. In any game mode, 2v3s are a big disadvantage, and situations that seem non-threatening.
So tip number 30 is don't be a hero.
And that is 30 tips to help you get better
that was
in these
fast.
competitive matches. I'm sure there are a ton of tips that I could have
My
mentioned
brain
that I did
hurts.
not, so
Big shout out to Kairos for giving me his blessing to react to this video. I think I've learned a lot and I'm gonna be a little bit better.